Hello and welcome to Dingoes Ate My Podcast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And this week we're discussing the episode Provider. This episode originally aired January 21st, 2002, attracting approximately 4.36 million viewers. So let us start off with video games for this week and next week because there's a break in the season. So January 22nd, we get a couple of games. So if you had a PS2, you could either pick up Forever Kingdom, or you could pick up MotoGP 2. If you felt like a racing game, I guess.
Okay.
However,
Forever Kingdom is ringing somewhat of a bell, but I'm not sure from
it's
what.
also known as Evergrace 2 in Japan.
Oh.
I'm
Again,
assuming
heard the titles, but nothing's coming up in the head.
it looks like some anime RPG nonsense.
No, understandable.
Also, on January 22nd, I feel like most of the video game money at the time was going to this game on PC. Little game called Medal of Honor Allied Assault.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you didn't feel like picking up anything on the 22nd and you were like, nah, I think I'll wait a day, January 23rd, if you had a PS2, you could pick up Parappa the Rapper 2.
Oh, man. You gotta believe.
You know what the sad thing is? I've never played Parappa the Rapper.
Well, it's also kind of understandable if you wasn't exposed to it and you're not that much of a music nut.
I think it's on Steam, though.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Anyway, if that didn't catch your eye, the next day, in January 24th, if you had a PC, you could pick up Salt Lake 2002.
Neat.
I mean, I guess. January 28th on the PS2, you could pick up either Draken, The Ancient's Gates. You could pick up Airblade, also on the PS2, which looks like a skateboarding game. Also on the 28th, you could pick up Grenadia 2.
Yes. That is a neat.
And finally, on the 28th, you could also pick up ESPN International Winter Sports 2002.
Yeah, understandable. What was that first title you mentioned?
Draken, The
Dragon?
Ancient Gates. The Ancient's Gates, sorry.
Just one quick second to stand for the.
Sure. I take it you are somewhat familiar with this game? Maybe?
Actually, more so than that. I actually have a copy.
Oh, really?
It was a case that I remember seeing a couple of friends played it. It was a case of I was babysitting some little kids and they were playing it despite being a rated M game. But essentially kind of like I suppose like EverQuest or typical RPG sort of game at the time. It was interesting.
Yeah, I had never heard of it until I saw it on this list for today. So February 1st on Windows, you could pick up Serious Sam: The Second Encounter, which is a game that I own that I don't remember ever purchasing. And finally, on February 3rd, if you had a Game Boy Advance, you could pick up a little. Oh, sorry, we have one more game after this, actually. February 3rd on the Game Boy Advance, you could pick up Sonic Advance, which...
okay. I believe that was a fairly decent one.
I believe this one... Yes, this one was the one that was quite good. There was another one that came out, though, that was a port of the original that was terrible.
Yeah.
And finally, on February 4th, if you had an Xbox, you could pick up a little game called Reckless: The Yakuza Missions.
I think I might know of that one, but only just vaguely.
It's a pretty terrible, like, racing game.
Oh, okay. Then might have it confused with something else.
It also came out on the PS2 and GameCube, apparently, but I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, it was kind of a case at the time. If it came out on one system and it wasn't exclusive to it, it would come out on the other ones.
Yeah, it looked like it was a timed exclusive for Xbox because they had it for like a couple of months before it came to the others.
Well, it fared better than in other cases where they had it for about a week and it's like everyone else wanted it.
Yeah, they had it they had looks like about 8 months exclusive, which that's a decent amount of time. Alrighty, let us move into box office. So, number one film this week, Dave.
Let's see. This week. Hmm. Just trying to think. Nothing's immediately popping to mind. And I'm not sure the safe bet of sticking with what came up last week would stick around. Supposedly a thought, but war movies only have so much staying power in some cases.
Any
I'm not
ideas?
sure. Nah, nothing immediate.
You should have gone with your gut, Dave, because it is still Black Hawk Down.
Okay.
Yes, which I might have to watch tonight because that's a good movie. Anyway, moving on to the number one song in America this week. Any guesses?
I wouldn't be surprised if Nickelback was still sticking up on top.
Nickelback was not number one last week. I just brought it up because I wanted to mention it. Last week,
Oh,
the number one song was "You Got It Bad" by Usher.
oh, yes. Now I remember why I didn't remember the number one.
Any idea?
Is it still him?
It is still "You Got It Bad" by Usher. Yes.
Okay.
He seems so happy.
Just tired, my good friend. Just tired.
Okay, so let us move on to the episode. Okay, so we start off with Fred working on the Angel Investigations website while Cordelia talks to Angel about not losing sight of the mission. It's about helping the helpless, not making money.
Yeah.
And yes, Cordelia said it's not about making money.
She's had a couple seasons to kind of build up from things from there, and there's always the concern. We are human beings, my good friend, but still, on whole.
It's, yeah. Gunn and Wesley return to report that they distributed flyers all over town. However, they might have put the wrong phone number on them.
Wait, this isn't our number. Everyone looks at Wesley.
I also love how the guy who's being chased by some monster, he dials the number. And the other guy in the end, he's like, yeah, it's a pizza place.
Oh boy, you are out of luck.
It's very good. They correct and redistribute the flyers. Fred rock Connor while Wesley and Gunn admire the adorable scenery. Angel comes in and starts issuing instructions, but can't figure out what comes first: making money, finding Holtz, or helping the helpless. Almost immediately, the phone starts ringing. Holtz and Justine lurk underground, discussing Justine's failures to follow orders. She dusted two vampires that Holtz told her to stay away from. He questions her commitment, and the camera shifts to show her hand impaled on a spike. He tells her to take it out if she chooses, but that if she lasts until the morning, they'll continue as partners. Angel Investigations is flooded with customers. Everyone is busy, and Cordelia says that they're being stretched a bit thin. But Angel claims they can handle it. When Cordy tells him to answer the phones, he seems more interested in the pocketbooks of the people on the other end than their problems. Gunn talks to a woman whose dead ex is stalking her, while Wesley and Lorne talk to three demons in chrome face masks, who, Lorne says while translating, having read some of Wesley's work, want to buy his head. He then clarifies and tells Wes that they want him to solve a traditional puzzle for them. While they're talking, Fred notices the complicated geometric pattern on the demons' tunics, and they leave suddenly to either consult their prince or eat a cheese monkey. I'm not quite sure which.
Yeah, Lauren doesn't exactly know the language 100%.
He's a little rusty. Angel meets with wealthy business owner Harlan Elster, who is concerned about a nest of vampires. He asks if Angel has any experience with vampires, to which Angel replies, some, yeah, a little bit. Elster says that these ones are different. They want money, not blood. Ulster says that they've been putting the squeeze on local businessmen, threatening their employees for money. They demanded $5,000, so he offers Angel $10,000 to get rid of them, with 50% up front. As Angel leaves, the real Mr. Elster walks in, and the man Angel has been speaking to punches him unconscious. Holtz returns to find Justine where he left her. He tells her to go out and find people who have the same rage they do. He pulls the spike out of her hand and she punches him and leaves. Angel returns to find the hotel nearly empty. Cordelia expresses concern that they might miss someone who really needs their help with all their cases. Lauren and Fred return. Lauren, you could say quite drunk. Lauren says that Holtz has poisoned his previous minions and is looking to replace them with humans. Before Lauren can leave, the chrome-faced demons return asking for Fred this time. They are impressed with her and they've brought $50,000. They know it's a paltry offering, but it's all they have. Lauren...
Well, that's understandable, though Angel's happy to help out with the case.
Oh, of course he is. Lauren and Fred leave for the job. It should only be a day or two. Gunn and Wesley help out the woman with the stalker ex-boyfriend. Their conversation indicates that both Wes and Gunn are interested in Fred. The boyfriend attacks and they fight it off, confirming him to be a zombie. Fred and Lauren arrive at the boat where the demons are staying, and Fred immediately sets to work on the puzzle. Lauren is not feeling so well and leaves to go throw up. On his way to the facilities, he overhears a conversation, which indicates that his original translation to Wesley was accurate. They really do want a head to replace that of their prince who appears unwell. They've decided on friends. Angel cleans out the vampire nest, but when he returns to Elster, he learns that the man who gave him the forged check for the first $5,000 is an ex-employee of Elster's who lost a friend and developed a crazy belief that this building was full of vampires. He's clearly a crazy person. Angel surprises the fake Elster in the vampire's lair. He grabs the watch the guy is holding, which the guy says is worth more than $10,000, more than the $10,000 he has been paying to Angel, or planning to pay to Angel, I should say, because it was the first thing he ever bought his friend. When Angel says he didn't kill the 3 vamps for nothing, the man corrects him on the number. There were 7 vampires. Cordelia, watching the baby, tries to float as she did in the last episode, while explaining to him now she became part demon to cope with the visions. While putting the money away, she gets a vision of what the demons are planning to do to Fred. She whispers for Fred not to solve the puzzle, just as Fred says with satisfaction that it shouldn't be long. Wes and Gunn are in full swing fighting with a zombie boyfriend, and Cordy knows Angel won't answer his phone, so she heads to the marina herself to return the money and save Fred. The girl and the zombie boyfriend squabble about their relationship, and it comes out that, well, she might have slightly poisoned him.
So, it's not just one person's problem that causes relationship issues.
Yes. He says he'd forgive her if she took him back. That's, wow, okay.
Gunn would agree with you.
After some pleading, she agrees to give it another shot. The rest of the vamps attack Angel and the man. While Angel refuses to help because he hasn't been paid, the guy apologizes for lying to him, and Angel agrees to help him barricade the doors while they discuss payment options. Fred solves the puzzle, and they take her away, while she nervously asks after Lauren. They take her to the room with the prince, where Lauren is tied up. He explains the plan while the demons get ready to cut off Fred's head. Cordy shows up just in time to stop them, still holding baby Connor, and tries to give back the money in exchange for Fred. But Lauren, assuming the whole team is there, accidentally aggravates the situation with his translation.
Yes. Maybe learn the whole situation before saying things to the demons that are about to kill you.
I love Lauren. He's the best. Angel smashes a window to get the guy out before the vamps can break in, but the guy refuses to leave, saying if he runs now, after what happened to his friend, he'll be running the rest of his life. Angel reluctantly slays the vamps, grousing about the lack of payment, and walks off as the guy tries to thank him, stopping to answer his beeper but unable to work it.
Yeah.
Cordelia tries to kick one of the demons in the groin, but a metallic clang indicates that it was rather useless. And I mean, in all fairness, Lauren didn't know because he had never been intimate with one.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, fair. Wesley and Gunn arrive and take out the demon, saving Fred temporarily, but also knocking off the prince's head. Angel arrives somewhat late and takes on the remaining demons before anyone is seriously hurt. Angel apologizes to Cordelia for leaving her and Connor alone. Fred, released, quotes the first line of Kipling's If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs," and tells Gunn and Wes she could kiss them both. But when they both step forward, Lauren draws their attention to the fact that he's still tied up on the floor.
Yeah, maybe some help, please.
Angel tells the gang that he got carried away with the whole money thing because he's never had anyone dependent on him in the way that Connor is now, and not wanting to let him down. Distracted by a big pile of money on the floor, he continues that family and the mission come first. Cordelia, also looking at the money, declares that after what they tried to do to Fred, the Angel team has definitely earned it.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally, we see Cordelia and Angel lying in bed feeding Connor while talking about what to spend their money on. Angel insists they use it for Connor's college fund, and Cordelia half-jokingly tries to tell him to use it on a boat or a ski house. So, that was this episode.
On the it's a decent enough idea for the boat, but that just seems ridiculous. How is he even going to use it? He can't go out at night.
I mean, he could. It's not a good idea, but could. So what did you think of this episode, Dave?
Turned out to be pretty good. Kind of going a bit more with the particular idea and showing the hazards, issues with it, and also sort of giving a bit more storyline to things. Having the other sort of issues that kind of come and go with that, and also maybe placing a little pin on some people that might be supposedly important or interesting in future stories, as well as kind of showing the dynamic of, oh man, Holtz, he's got to supposedly be an issue.
Yeah, so obviously we still have Holtz to deal with at some point. We also get some developments between Angel and Cordelia and their relationship, which, maybe that'll lead somewhere, maybe it won't.
It's kind of there. Whether anything kind of comes about it, I'm not too sure. Like, they've been hinting at it, but with this show and partially Buffy's kind of experience with Angel and love, yeah.
Yes. So, international titles for this episode, and actually, both of the ones we have this week are quite good.
Oh.
Yes. So, in German, it translates as guessing game.
Okay. Works.
And in French, it translates as family support.
Yeah, that works.
They both are quite good, I thought. So, if there's nothing else about this episode, next week we'll be discussing a little episode called Waiting in the Wings. Oh, okay. So, Angel is going to take the gang out for an evening at the ballet. Oh, how nice. But becomes suspicious when the prima ballerina is one that he saw dance more than a century ago. When Angel and Cordelia sneak backstage to investigate, they find themselves consumed with an overwhelming passion for one another as the spirits of unrequited lovers take over. Hey, wait a minute. I think we've done this before.
Oh, boy.
This seems... Dave, I think they might have reused an idea for an episode from Buffy.
Why am I not surprised? And why did it have to be this kind of episode?
Because I'm sorry, but this is like, in a lot of ways, it is very similar to an episode from season 3 of Buffy. It was season 3, wasn't it? Oh, maybe that was season 2. Yeah, it was season 2, little episode called I Only Have Eyes for You.
Yeah, with those. But again, now throwing it within this series and the issue of, yeah, not everybody knows the situation with Angel. Do we really need to throw him in this kind of situation again?
Yes, but But they're going to the ballet, and that's going to be good.
I don't doubt, but still.
And there's also some fun trivia we'll get to about that episode when we discuss it. So, until then, I've been Paul.
And I've been Dave.